Hello, and welcome to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. I'm Peter Wilkin, and I'm here to help you build differentiated, enduring brands and thriving businesses. It's not really a podcast, it's more a series of strategic insights, stories, and secrets of success from a lifetime's career in advertising, brand consulting, and change management. The thread that binds them is brand-centered management, the trademark brand building process and philosophy I developed with my partners at the brand company over 20 years ago, that's since been embraced by thousands of brand professionals and some of the world's most iconic brands. The 4Ds process and brand DNAs have become well known in brand strategy circles. The focus here is practical advice you can apply straight away to your business. It gives you a glimpse inside the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, our online coaching program, where we aim to democratize effective brand strategy. So come with me, take a step inside the virtual lighthouse. Welcome.
What can you tell us about the Ring the Bell story?
Okay, that's a good one as well. And that's a classic. This is, I was inspired to act this way through the learnings of one of my old bosses, David Ogilvy, from Ogilvy and Mather, as it was then. It's now just Ogilvy. And we had a pitch that was for one of the big banks in the Philippines. They did the normal thing. They invited 3 or 4 agencies to come and present ideas, and we'd developed some nice ideas, and we'd even actually worked up a couple of mock audiovisual TV commercials for this particular bank on a great proposition. It was good work. We walked into the pitch presentation with our team, and it was a classic big bank environment. If you can imagine, there was this 30-foot long boardroom table with chairs lined up and, at either end and across the middle. It was one of these very impressive kind of big boardroom things. And they had the television equipment up at one end. So we naturally kind of came in and set up there, and we're all ready to go and with our team. And so the client team walked in, and there was quite a few of them. There were 6 or 7 of them, and we shook hands politely. And then they kind of paraded down to the far end of the table, which was obviously where they normally kind of sat, but there was no equipment there. And I kind of said, excuse me, do you mind kind of coming up here so we can, interact personally and we can show you the television commercial? Honestly, you would have needed binoculars to have seen the TV screen from where they were sitting. This table was so long. Yeah. That would work as well. And amazingly, they kind of said, no, why don't you come over here? And, don't worry about that. We'll talk through this idea. And I looked at my creative colleague, David, and I kind of said, this isn't right. And I asked the question, I said, who's going to make the decision on the agency appointment? And all of them put their hands up. There were about, like I said, 6 or 7 of them, which was, again, another really bad sign. And so I whispered to David and I said, look, I don't think these guys are right culturally for us. I mean, just sitting in here, can you imagine the client agency relationship we're going to have? And he said, you said it before I did. I was just about to kind of walk out, and I said, okay, so we're gonna walk away from this. I said, but we'll do it in a polite way. So I said, you get up, take your people with you. I'll go down and talk to them. So I went down and I said to them, thank you very much for the invitation to pitch our ideas to you. We politely decline. And good luck. I think you're going to find an agency that's going to work well for you. And, you could have felt the jaws hit the table. Now, it sounds the way I'm saying it was like an incredibly arrogant thing to do. It was
strategic retreat.
It was a strategic retreat, but it was an incredibly difficult thing to do because I knew our team had been working for, weeks on this great campaign. Mm-hmm. We were a small agency. We were growing. We needed the business. We would have valued it. But it was not right, and you can feel it in your gut. I walked out of we walked out of the room without presenting any of our work, and as we walked out of the room, the next agency were waiting ahead of us. Obviously, they were expecting us to be a little longer than we were. and I knew the head of the agency, who was a very, very smart lady. It was Gray who was behind us. Um, and I said to her, look, it's all yours. And in case they tell you anything different, we've politely declined to pitch the business. So it's all yours. Good luck. And she looked at me stupefied. Nobody did that. Nobody walked out of a pitch. Before we'd even got back to the agency, the phones were buzzing off the hooks because all the Grey people had said, Ogilvy had just walked out, and so we had to answer that story within the community.
Right.
And of course, it reinforced our position. We were fighting respect for the quality of our ideas and work. And if it doesn't seem a good fit, we'd rather protect our team and our integrity than dilute that. And it made it so much more appealing for any creative-minded people, both the suits, the account service side, and the creative people. It made Ogilvy Philippines an incredibly attractive option. And given that the agencies were only about people and talented people, that was the currency we wanted to operate in. So the story didn't quite end there because we were sitting then on a really, really nice campaign, and you will hear this story again repeated. But this came before the other one, I sat down with David. We said, look, there are probably 5 or 6 decent agencies in the country. There are 36 banks. Chances are we're going to find another bank that this is going to work. And we did exactly that.
Right.
And we modified the work and presented and pitched and won that bank's business. So we didn't lose the money, but we enhanced our reputation. So back to the ring the bell quote. The reason I felt confident about doing that is that we'd been schooled by the best, and that story had been repeated with our original boss, David Ogilvy, when he was setting his agency up, and he was invited to pitch a business. It was a big textile company, I think, and had similarly come in and faced a phalanx of people. But in front of them, even worse, they had a little bell, like the hotel bell ringer thing.
Oh, no.
And said, you've got, and they'd lined them up, said, you've got precisely 10 minutes to present your work to us. And at the end of that, we're going to ring the bell, and he had asked the same question, who's going to make the decision? And all of them have said they would. And he said, ring the bell before he presented anything. So that's where ring the bell came from. Thank you for listening to the Lighthouse Brand Builders podcast. If you found this helpful and want to know more, please visit my website at peterwilkin.com. That's Wilkin with an E at the end. You'll find more free resources, instructional videos, and links there. If you're a CEO or a business owner looking to build your brand, or a brand strategist looking to level up your skills, check out the CBO Masterclass in the Lighthouse Brand Strategy Academy, where you'll be guided through a comprehensive, stepwise process to develop your unique brand DNA and learn the skills to become a certified Chief Brand Officer. If you have any brand or strategy related questions you'd like answered, you can ask them in the showcase notes below. I'll do my best to address them. Thank you, and see you next time.